Locked In had the potential to be an amazing film. It was a good film, but the structure of the narrative is a bit of a mess. We have a lot of flashbacks, and I have nothing against flashbacks when they're done right, but I feel like it was a little bit too messy to be a brilliant film. But it's still really good, and I found it to be really compelling. There were times when it was quite slow, but it's absolutely worth it. I won't give away the ending, but I will, with a spoiler warning, share my thoughts on the ending. I'll try not to spoil too much, but I will give a spoiler warning in due course. This was released this year in 2023, directed by Nour, written by Warren Joffé, and this stars Famke Janssen as Katherine, and I apologise if I'm mispronouncing any of these names, and Rose Williams as Lina. We also have Alex Hassell as Dr. Lawrence, and Finn Cole as Jamie, and Anna Friel as Nurse Mackenzie. And it starts off with an introduction to this locked in concept. And this is because Katherine is in a coma and she wakes but can't communicate her story. But as the film develops and as the narrative progresses, we learn about how she came to be in a coma. And obviously, I don't want to give away too much about that, but I will just say it involves her son, her son's wife, and their doctor. And I won't give away any more than that, but I will say that it was quite unpredictable. There were times when the daughter-in-law, her son's wife, Lina, wasn't very likable. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be on her side or not. But having said that, the same is true for Katherine. There are times when I didn't like her as a character. At no point did I think she deserved to be in a coma. That's a bit harsh. But there were times when I wasn't really a fan of her personality. I didn't really gel with the character. But there were times when I did. And it's a bit of a roller coaster in that regard, where I wasn't really sure who I was rooting for or who ultimately I wanted to be the good guy or the bad guy, as it were. And I won't kind of give away what came of that, of course, but it definitely was a very unpredictable film, both in terms of the events and in terms of how I responded to what was happening as my opinions kept changing. And I liked that aspect of it in a way because it meant that I didn't really know what my personal final outcome would be. As I said, the narrative is a little bit of a mess. The narrative structure isn't great. I don't think it handled the flashbacks very well. The editing there wasn't amazing. I do think the flashbacks are essential. I think, in theory, it's a good way to tell the story, start with a coma, and then backtrack and work out how we got there. But I don't think it was handled very well. Not in a way that made me not enjoy the film. I still liked the film, but as I said, it could have been an amazing film because the story is there, the potential is there, the acting across the board is very good, and it is quite suspenseful. But because of the poor editing with going back and forth between present day and the past, it meant that the narrative was just a little bit sloppy. But because everything else worked really well, it still means it's a good film and I enjoyed it. And I feel like not everybody fully understands it. One of my favourite examples is somebody left a negative review on IMDb saying the title made no sense because nobody was locked inside anywhere at all, kind of misinterpreting the fact that locked in refers to locked in syndrome. But of course, there are some negative reviews or some critical reviews where they do make some valid points. For me, the only real issue I had with it is the timeline and the handling of how that was edited. But other than that, I thought it was quite a good film. So I won't discuss now what happens at the end, but I will say what I thought of the end. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to know anything about the last, let's say, 10 minutes of the film, I don't have anything else to say about the film, so I'd advise you to stop listening now and check out the film, and please do come back and let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you enjoy it. So, the end of the film, as I said, I won't say what happens, but what I will say is that I loved it. It was intense, it was suspenseful, I didn't expect it to go in that direction, and I loved it. The rest of the film is good, but the ending, I loved. I adored it. And honestly, I thought it was pretty fantastic. So it's completely worth it. If, like me, you watched it and didn't love the timeline, didn't love the structure of the narrative, and if you did give up with it, I'd say go back and stick with it because it's completely worth it. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought Locked In was a good film. It could have been an amazing film, but at the end of the day, being a good film is still a pretty good thing. And if it sounds like your kind of thing, definitely check it out.